Alright guys, so today we're gonna build a Rails API. We're gonna pretend Twitter never existed, and we're gonna pretend like we're gonna create it right now from scratch. So we're gonna create an API for Twitter if Twitter never existed. So one of the first things we gotta do is, well, build the API. So it's actually kind of difficult to build an API. You'll see why. So we say Rails new, and I'm gonna call it very because we already verified this repo. I'm just gonna call it very repo. Very creative. And bam. Yeah, I know it's very tough, very difficult, but this is how you build an API. And this repo that we're in already. We already previously built it. I'm gonna possibly put something up here or a link somewhere down below, and so you can see why you should get a verified repo on GitHub. But yeah, it's actually it's kind of quick. It mostly takes time just to install all the gems. Well, there you go. That was the most difficult task that we had to do, building an API. Alright, so what I like to do after this, I like to grab each and every single folder, because we already have a folder for GitHub. So I like to grab each and every single one, and I like to get them out. I think we did a little boo-boo there. And we paste them outside. Forget that one. There we go. We're gonna do it one more time. Oh, yeah. It's super difficult. No, I'm kidding. And bam. And now everything is outside. And the verified repo is by itself. See, like that folder just becomes empty, and I go ahead and I delete it. I don't want it anymore. So bam, that's literally how we set up our Rails API. But now we're gonna create the second step. But first, as part of the process, I like to go ahead and save each thing I have done. So we're gonna go ahead and add this to our GitHub. Our GitHub is already locked in with the API. So I'm gonna say git add. I'm gonna commit and say API set or API up. Yeah, API up. Because we still have to finish it, fix it, and add our users, and git push. It's a very organized thing to do. It helps to keep track of what you did, previous versions, and at a certain point what was working and what wasn't. Yeah, but it's not a bad idea to keep yourself organized. So we said we're gonna pretend to build Twitter, and as part of the backend, we're gonna create a user and a tweet to keep track of our users and their tweets. So we're gonna go ahead and create our database, and it's actually quite difficult also, so just let's do it. So we say Rails G scaffold user. See, the thing here with scaffold, it's alright if you use it on the API, because it kind of keeps track of it's not as heavy or intensive as the real it's not real, but the Rails itself. This Rails API is a lightweight version of Rails, just to send data back and forth. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, and once we say Rails G scaffold user. This is the table for the user, and then in the table we're gonna have a column called username. It's already a string, so we don't have to add any information. Then we say phone number. We can camel toe this phone number. Whatever method works for you. This is an integer, so we're gonna go ahead and say specifically integer. Email and password digest. We're gonna create an account, so it's gonna be important to save our passwords, and let's see if it works. Hopefully it works. And it should be generating our table for user at this point. And yeah, if it takes too long, I'm just gonna do a quick cut until when it's created. Or I might just get an error. Let's see. There is a next step they have to do, which is, let's see. All right, cool, great. It created our database. So we have our table that we need to migrate, which is gonna be this. So we got a string for username, integer for phone number, string for email, and then we got a password digest. Great. So now, before we actually migrate our table, there's a few gems that I wanna add. For example, the bcrypt. I like this one because it encrypts our password, and you're gonna see how it works with our models. We need our rack to set up. We gotta set up our rack. So I'm just gonna say I don't see it here. So yeah, I believe we gotta put it ourselves. Yeah. So say gem rack cores, I believe it is. And we can need another one. Oh, gem pry. I love that one. And this one's very important, but it's gonna come in. We're not gonna use it right away, which is gonna be the gem active model serializer. Let's just keep it here, but we're not gonna use it immediately. But you'll see why it's so important. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and say bundle install. Cool. So it added those gems to all the total gems that we have here. So now we have 62 gems now installed, and previously we had, let's see if we can go back up there to how many we got installed. We have 55. Cool. So those actually added quite a few things. Great. So that is the very first step in how to create a Rails API and pretending to have pretending to create a Twitter backend on Rails. After this, we're gonna go ahead and add another table. It's gonna be called tweet. We got the user, we got the tweet, and we're gonna do associations after that. So stay tuned.